Oh, we're live.
Good evening. This is Gloria Brown, and this is a gathering of priestesses. We're having a little technical issue tonight, so we're going to try and manage it. There is some sound issues, so we apologize, and we will be with you as soon as we can. We have with us tonight Miss Lisa Harrington and fellow San Diegan, as well as Catherine Ravenwood. And so, Raven, thank you for being with us again tonight.
Thank you.
And Risa, so we're going to ask you the question we ask all of our people. What drew you onto the path of the priestess?
Yes, I really have never identified with the word priestess too much, and I know others don't always either. But serving the divine, like you say, is serving the divine, and it is what my guidance calls me now. So it's okay to have that handle. I was attacked by a demon uh, when I was 21 years old, and the enormity of that attack was just so profound that it made a huge impression on my life. And even though I thought I had won that battle, it was actually attached to me for 30 years or more. And because I had the strong enough will at the time to not be taken over by him, he didn't have any dominant presence in my life. He just was like a darkness within me that I never understood. I didn't know I had an attachment. And throughout my adulthood, I was attacked by very dark entities that were trying to attach to me. And I was always fighting off some darkness of some kind. And so in midlife, I had to step fully on the path of light and find ways to help myself. And so that began my education in walking the light and path of a simple self-mastery. And I was able to function finally by embracing the positive lifestyle and just doing all kinds of protective work and starting to work with angels and educating myself on aspects of the divine. And that turned me into a very, very strong being of light that serves the divine, and I do so with a real passion towards raising the vibrations of this planet. And in that effort, I wrote my first book, and that is the steps that can be taken for people that are disturbed by darkness and dark entity attachments and attacks to start walking the self-mastery path and embracing a light life, a life of light.
Mm-hmm.
And and the work I do is along those lines. People that have lost soul attachments and demon attachments are attracting these for some reason, and we all have unhealed emotions within us. And so lost souls are attracted to a common unhealed emotion within a human being. And lost souls don't even always intend to attach to someone. It's just a gravitational pull. You know, it's the law of attraction. Like we attract people in our lives to help us heal, and it causes us friction, and then we grow. The same thing happens with lost souls. But the unfair part is we don't know they're there, and we don't know why our addictions and our unhealed emotions are escalating and coming to a head, and it seems that a lot of us go to psychiatrists and psychologists and therapists to find out what in hell's wrong with us. And so the psychological field is starting to uncover this, and there's quite a few psychology professionals that handle lost souls and lost soul releasement therapy, depossessions. So it's a whole field that is slowly growing, and I really want to expand awareness to the world in my small way, so that people can become educated on the subject and start digging into self-help areas rather than turn themselves over to psychiatrists for medication. And there's a lot of people that have like bipolar and multiple personalities and different diagnoses of psychological problems that are really just caused by too many personalities inhabiting the same body and mind and memories. And so I'm hoping you guys have some stories yourself and some feedback. I know that we have microphone issues, but I was really looking forward to some,
Well, we'll talk about it. It's just we're going to be careful so that people can hear us. One of the things I thought about when we were talking about the dark entity that Winston Churchill talked about being followed by the dark black dog all of his life, and he was talking about primarily depression. But
right.
I think in some cases that what you were talking about is depression, and whether it's caused from inside or outside. It's a matter of relieving and realizing you have lost your soul. You agree?
I didn't hear all of what you said, but I'm guessing that you were presenting the case that people can grow out of these circumstances by just going through their own self-help or their own growth, their own emotional healing. Am I off base? Like you're cutting off. I can't get all of the words that you're saying.
Yeah, we're having a little problem, so please be patient.
I'm sorry.
So, Raven, let's try you a minute. If we can, you can talk.
All right. Can you hear me all right? Or am I back as well?
I'm hearing most of what you say.
Okay. Is it Risa?
Yes.
Risa, you sound fine. Not so you're fine. I don't know what it's coming from this feedback. So, how did you come to understand that you had a lost soul within you? How did you know that?
Oh, good question. Yes, I didn't discover that until my like mid-50s, because I was turned on to Edith Fiore's book on the unquiet dead. I'm reading through the symptoms, and it became very evident to me that, oh my God, this is what's wrong with me. What had happened was I had a total of 8 attachments all of my life, and by the time I became in my mid-50s, I was expressing so much light, and I had become so well enlightened in my way that the attachments had become dormant, including the demon attachment. They were just hanging out. Once somebody gets stuck to you, they're comfortable. They don't have bodies of their own, and so that's how I discovered it.
And then, how did you get help for that? Are they still there, or have they gone?
Oh God, no, they're way gone. I had to, my guidance clued me in and told me that I had to release them in order to progress further. And so that's what started my whole path in doing this for other people and writing the book and et cetera, because I had to learn how to do it for myself. And then my very serious studies began once I found out I had the attachments. How could this go on so long, and how did it affect my life? I had episodes through the years, of having memories that I had no idea where they came from, of behaving in ways that were not like me, my core nature. And I had a raft of dream memories come to me one day that were familiar to me, familiar to some part of me, but they weren't my dreams. So all of these mysterious things that were happening throughout my life, all of a sudden became clear, you know. And
So
so
when you began to work with releasing them, I would imagine that brought them out of dormancy. And did they challenge you?
oh yes,
And they were not, they were probably pissed off.
they don't want to go. Oh,
Right.
they were very, very resistant. I released one of them, and the next day I was getting ready for work, and I felt this dark presence hanging around my neck. And it just got, the whole thing was just so creepy to discover. When you're a sensitive and you're already really sensitive to energy and things, and it just it was a difficult period of my life, which is why I want to educate others and help others to get through this. And
So when you were able to finally release them, did they go one at a time? Did they go all together?
no, they had to go one at a time because each one has to be counseled, and they have to be crossed over so that they don't attack someone else. You just you let a lost soul go, and they're still lost. So
Right.
it's over time I have learned how to counsel them and convince them to take the healing that is accepted in the higher realms, and it's a process. It's a very interesting, fascinating process because there are so many. There's as many varied lost souls as there are human beings because they're human beings. They just don't have bodies anymore, and so being able to help someone understand what's happening to them and why they're stuck and how they can move to the spirit realms and we go through the forgiveness process and explain the karmic wheel and and becoming the demons, especially being able to convince a demon that he can use that power that he has of darkness instead to become a powerful warrior of light, to be able to counsel a demon and see that black cloud shift slowly as he's being spoken to. And I'm surrounded by angels. I have a powerful team of people helping me out. This isn't just Risa saving the day, right? But being part of that process is just phenomenal and often heart-rendering. I go through a lot of joyful and sad, and there's a lot of camaraderie, a lot of empathy and understanding, and it's very rich work.
So, Reese, C wants to know, how did you deal with other people's suggestions, if you had them, that this was all in your head, that the outside world can be so cruel?
I didn't get all of the question.
How did you deal with other people's suggestions that this was all in your head?
I didn't tell other people about it for that reason. I didn't see any professionals. I didn't ask for any help. I've been working with the Ascended Masters for about 15 years directly, and they're my buddies. They're my friends, my counsel, my teachers. And so I was able to keep it under wraps and heal this circumstance without involving other people. I talk about it now because I want to share it, and my family's just learning this. If they're watching this, they're just learning this about me now. My sister's the only one that really understood and was informed, and and my mom. I lived with my mom. We were buddies, but that's about it. So.
Did you have the relationship with the Ascended Masters before humans came in?
My relationship with the Ascended Masters began when I quit my corporate career and went to Sedona and went to Egypt and, and returned home. And in that same year, and that was 1999, that's when I began talking to Spirit seriously and working with the Ascended Masters. And I was reading Joshua Stone's book, and his, I forgot what the name of it is, but his steps to becoming an ascended master, and the ascended masters that were working with me took me through those processes and those lessons. I did a phenomenal amount of channeling and meditating during that sabbatical.
How were you able to channel ascended masters while you had been attached to you? I'm not questioning you. I'm just saying, wow.
That is a good question. That is a very good question. I had to. It wasn't always the ascended masters coming at me, but they were watching over me. They were talking to me, and once in a while Saint Germain would step in. But in the beginning, it was all. I mean, Horus was talking to me. It was Horus that was my encouragement to go to Egypt. Mostly, it was spirit guides, but it was the ascended masters would show themselves to me at various times, probably when my vibrations were higher, and start talking to me. And eventually, I started channeling them and working with them directly. And now it's solely ascended masters, but through those years, those last 15 years, it was a mixture of spirit guides and angels and ascended masters. There was always one.
Was there a conflict between your guidance and the demon blocking it?
No, no. I guess I didn't describe it well enough. The demon attack, it was like a panther on my back, and it was claws in my upper back and claws in my thighs, and it was just pure evil. It was so powerful, but I was able to break that connection because it was taking me over. It was going to be the dominant me, and I knew that. I was fighting for my life, and I had enough forces with me. I wasn't spiritual at the time, but I always was at my core. I was able to move a baby finger just a fraction of an inch, and bam, that relieved the pressure. And I was able to get on my bike and ride to my mom's. And I never went back to that house except to get my furniture. And then, like I said, I because I was able to break through that, and I had a very, very strong will, he was not able to become a dominant factor, a dominant force within me. A lot of people that have demon attachments are the ones that are called possessed, because there is a dominant demon presence within them that just takes over their personality and doesn't allow them to come out hardly at all. And those are people that are very, very seriously in trouble. And I would like to help more of them, but that's a whole other, subject. Yeah, that answers your question. Good questions.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm glad you're asking them, because I know Gloria is having a hard time being heard. And
I'm not better. You can hear me.
Yeah. I'm able to catch what your questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sitting here messing with the sound, trying to do better.
Well, you sound good now.
Okay, good.
Maybe stop what you're doing.
You're still dull.
Well, so are you. Apparently, we have demons attacking the show tonight.
Wow.
I'm going.
Oh, I think we're pretty protected, actually.
That's okay.
Michael promised.
So one of the things that I was thinking about is my early experience with demons was in an early class with Nikki Scully.
Ooh.
And we're doing extractions. And my stepdaughter was there. And my stepdaughter had a lifelong issue with drug and alcohol abuse. And we, in the class, did spirit extraction, entity extraction, whatever you want to call it. And I remember seeing that energy, and it was like it was wrapped around her spine and holding on to
Oh
her
my God.
entire life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he was doing everything he could to pull her down into the darkness.
Wow. Thank God she had you guys.
Well, we were not that successful, and I will admit that even though we worked on her very hard, uh, my stepdaughter later died of alcoholism,
Oh.
and at 42 years old.
Wow.
But it always felt that it was like anytime anything was removed from her, she was so addicted to it that she immediately went and got it back.
Wow.
Now, have you found anything like that?
Oh yes. And that's why I give my first book to people, and I counsel them before I take on a client that they need to start walking the path of light, and they need to protect themselves daily, and they need to change their programming and their patterning so that they have more positive outlook on life, and they need to start walking that path in order to prevent further attachments. Yeah, because if we don't heal ourselves, we're just going to attract more. I mean, no doubt, and that's what happens to people. So that's why my treatment and my counseling prior to treating a client has progressed into a full healing package that is offered. Just informationally. My first book is also on my blog for free, and people can go there, and so I refer them to my blog so that they don't have to buy a book. Most people that have serious attachments, and especially demon attachments, are financially challenged. They have a difficult life, most of them, and it's hard to hold down a job, and so it's a hardship for people.
Now, Risa, Rhonda wants to know more than what happened to you personally. What have you been able to do to help others? So I guess this follows right on your statement about providing others with healing. So can you give us some examples of cases that you've worked on? No names, of course.
I'm not sure I'm understanding the question. Hi, Rhonda.
So Rhonda wants to know, other than giving a book, how have you been able to help people with your when you heal with it? Can you give an example of some things that have happened?
Follow-up mentoring, if I'm understanding the question. What I do is I create a video tapes of the healing sessions that I do for people. And the feedback that I'm getting from them is really good, because they're letting me know that from watching me work with the attachments and the releasement process, that it helps them to process their emotions, and they get involved in the session in that way, and it helps further their healing. And beyond providing them with a videotape, they can come back with questions, because I offer free mentoring. And so I will follow up with anyone that has these issues, whether they're a formal client or not, and I offer mentoring and counseling. It's all about light, and it's all about love. It's all about truth, and we've all got that in our hearts, and we know it when we hear it. So and that's what uplifts people and keeps them marching on.
So when the demons are released or free, or liberated, or exercised, whatever, what is the process that makes that happen? Is it the uplifted vibration of the host? Is it the uplifted vibration of the human? Is it tell us how that separation happens.
The quick answer to that is that the vibration is awakened within them. so that they start opening up and hearing the truth, and they start recognizing the truth of what's being said, and what's, like I say, I've got a whole raft of light beings with me. What I'd like to explain what a demon is, and I learned this essentially from William Baldwin's book. He's a psychologist, I believe, and what happens is these the darkest of the dark souls in the astral realm enslave other dark souls, and this enables them to be superpowers. So the one that I worked on just this week had 6 attachments, and these dark attachments create a body of 7. It's like maybe a caterpillar, right? And the lead guy is the demon force, and these are the ones that get attached to people and start, trashing homes and throwing dishes, and they're very powerful, and they can actually cause harm to human beings, even in their disembodied state. And so, and the further one, I would like to, while we're talking about demons, I would like to say, if I haven't already, that the purpose of a demon is to attack shamans and attack people that are born to be shamans. And my understanding from my guidance from the Ascended Masters is that 1 in 100 people born to the earth are meant to be shamans. We're supposed to have, the 1 shaman per village, right? And that would be like in our cities, a couple of blocks. I have a shaman on every block. If we could prevent shaman or demons from attacking shamans in the birth canal, we would lighten the vibrations of this earth and the astral realm, because all of the ones that are attacked in the birth canal are the people with Down syndromes and autism and the really serious mental diseases. And all of these can be released also if we can get the health professional, the psychologists and psychiatrists and doctors to be enlightened on this subject. Then we could get some real help in our mental institutions, and we just wouldn't have the problems that we have in this world. And to me, that's the biggest single problem that we have that's holding us back from raising the vibrations of the planet and the astral world.
So, Reese, pick up your phone.
Are you guys not hearing me?
No, I'm texting you.
I was going to ignore it so that I would be polite to you.
Yes. Because of my sound is so bad, I don't want to put it out there. But so what I've done is texted a question to you.
Okay, she wants me to talk about her son. That's what I'm guessing. So Rhonda, you're busted, okay? Thank you for enabling me to share your story. Rhonda is a lady in Missouri that had a 14-year-old son, and he had Asperger's, and he had serious problems coping with life and coping with friends, coping with school, coping with family. And he had a relative in California that I was helping out with demons, and she begged me to help her cousin Rhonda with her son, because he was in real trouble, and he probably had a demon. And so without contacting Rhonda or even knowing her, I did this release, and the contact in California let Rhonda know that it had been done. And bless her heart, she sent me the most beautiful testimonial letter I've got on my website, guidelights.org. And it describes the changes that happened within her son after the demon was released, because he was now a different personality, and he recognized it, and his family recognized it, and he was able to start making friends at school. And he's a wonderful young man, actually. I won't use his name because that's not appropriate. But that's my biggest success story. And thank you, Rhonda, for enabling me to share that with you.
Oh, and And I really want to thank Rhonda for being with us, because I was watching the weather today, and I know that Missouri is having a tremendous amount of issues as far as the weather is concerned. So anyway, Risa,
you're normal now.
yes, I know. I muted Risa.
Oh, I see.
So, and you're normal as well. It's her speakers.
Oh,
so,
I
Risa,
see.
can you hear us? Oh, now I need to unmute her. Risa, did you hit mute? Okay, now I'm having trouble unmuting her.
Well, it's unfortunate. Are you back?
You got
back.
Right?
So what we're going to do is when we ask a question, we're going to mute you. Risa.
You're going to ask a question of me, and you're going to mute me?
I'm going to mute you while we're speaking.
Oh, okay, then you're going to unmute
so that you can hear what we're saying. Yes. So, okay. So, one of the things that I was thinking about when you were talking is that the idea of the attacking of the shamans. And, you know, shamans have walked this path for many thousands of years. And in many cases, being a shaman has definitely been a difficult path. In fact, many of them have gone through life-threatening illnesses in order to become a shaman. So is there a possibility that this demon part is part of becoming a shaman? Now I'm going to see if I can unmute her now. Okay, hang on. This thing, this is not working well tonight, folks. Barbara, this is not the way they normally work. There we go.
You can hear me?
Yep.
Okay, that's a good question. Now what was it? Don't ask it again. It's here. I know I've got it. Yes, karmic. It is a karmic wheel, and so I have had to reconcile with myself that at some point, thousands of years ago, I was a possessor, and most likely a demonic one, or this wouldn't have happened to me, because everything in life is perfectly balanced karmically, and we know this, so there's no exceptions to the rule. You know, God doesn't say, well, you're going to be special, and you're going to take this abuse so that you can grow into a grand shaman, right? That's not the way it works. It's all perfectly balanced out. So I am not a victim of the dark forces, in other words. And I don't feel like a victim. I feel like a transmuter of the dark forces. And the light will win. It's just going to take a while.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Go ahead, Raven.
Risa, I am really glad to be hearing this conversation with you, because I can feel the authenticity in what you're saying. And without being offensive to anyone, I want to ask you a question that's bothered me for a long time. I've been around a lot of people who do healing, and they come up to you and they go, oh, you have a dark entity attached. You need to get that off of you. And I'm thinking, I don't have any dark entities on me. What makes you think you're seeing dark entities in me? So, and I don't mean to be snobby or anything, but how can someone know if they're with a practitioner who's really seeing dark entities, or if what they're seeing that they're calling a dark entity is simply a problem contained in that person themselves. In other words, it's me that's screwed up, not entities that have come onto me and that are in me. Does that make sense to you?
Okay, Risa, wait a minute while I can get you unmuted. This is just a little bit complicated here. Okay, hang on. Sorry, folks. We apologize. This is what you get whenever you have dark entities and technology, apparently. Okay, I'm going to go over here, go back here. Bloody hell.
It's very unfortunate because Risa's...
Yeah,
I got it. I got it. I got
we'll have her
it.
back on.
We're here.
Okay.
I would be appalled if someone walked up to me and said that, Raven, and I can tell you that you were. I mean, you're a raven. I don't think that that's very ethical for a practitioner to do, honestly, unless you went for her for help. You know, I can't. I don't have an answer to your question because the authenticity and integrity of a medium is their sole issue. You know, there's not an across the board way to tell. Then
I think it's very distressing to say to someone, you have a dark entity attached to you.
Of course.
And I have no idea if that's true or not, except that I don't feel it. I'm not having it.
Well, you know what?
Maybe there is one. How do you know?
It's possible that you had an attachment in the past that has become dormant since you've become a light worker. I mean, we have traumatic experiences when we're babies, right? And when we're children, and when we're in trauma, we disassociate. A piece of our soul breaks off. You know, we all know these concepts. The zoom that makes an opening for a lost soul to come and get comfortable within Raven. You could have carried it with your whole lifetime and not known about it because it became dormant in you. You know, that's why in the last 15 years I didn't know was still unaware I had attachments because they became dormant. And they just, but it would be nice to have it removed because it is part of your evolutionary process to be free within your own body. That's why my book is titled Soul Freedom, because we all need to be free. Even the lost souls need to be free. You know, they can't grow on their own evolution when they're stuck to somebody else's body. So,
are there basic symptoms that would give someone a hint of attachment?
Yeah, I have a list. I'm going to read from the wall. Feeling like being a witness to your life, feeling depleted of energy, suffering unusual mood swings, uncharacteristic bursts of anger, sadness, or emotion, hearing inner voices that are not blighted beings, worsening of addictions, feeling that this isn't me, anxiety or depression without apparent reason, medically unexplainable physical problems, unusual fears, phobias, or panic attacks, dramatic weight loss or weight gain, suicidal and dark thoughts, and dreams that are not your own. When you just know, where's this dream coming from? You know it's a dream, it seems familiar, but it's not mine. You know, and if it is dormant within you now, you might not have any symptoms. But I'll check for you once we get off. We'll take care of it. If it's there.
Okay.
Well, I do believe that we have the option of working with any number of entities. And for some people, the dark is what they choose to work with.
Well, there are paths of darkness, yeah. That's a conscious path of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about, I don't even know the name of the dark groups, but I know that there's a satanic phase of people. But I forgot what they're calling themselves. But it's infiltrating into the music industry, and there's a lot of stuff on YouTube. I'm not an expert in that stuff. I don't look at that. I don't need anything from it, so I can't speak to it.
Well, I do. If you have a teenager or you have a young person in your household that is going down this path, that dismiss it as saying, oh, they have dark entities, is not a responsible attitude to me.
Exactly. That person should not be a practitioner.
Yeah, so there's need to, I believe a young man who shot up in Colorado was an extreme victim of possession.
Possession, yeah, that is very likely. If not possessed, heavily loaded with attachments and surrounded by dark forces rooting him on. Yeah, very heavily overclocked.
And I know that his mother basically said that she had noted his behaviors were becoming more, let's just use the word dark. I don't like the word dark because I think dark and light are two sides of the same thing.
I agree, yeah, I understand.
But she had noticed that he was moving into a space where he wanted to harm things other than himself. And she didn't know what to do. And my attitude is, call somebody.
Yeah, it's tough. It's very tough, especially when you're dealing with loved ones. Yeah.
The reason I asked what I did was not so much because that isn't my concern. I'm concerned about people out there who need real help, and let's see, I'm not sure how to ask this. I agree that a therapist who just comes up and says, oh, you have an entity on you, that's not very ethical. But for people that either have that happening to them, have someone saying you have an entity and you need me to get it off of you, and they're in some kind of a symbiotic relationship with that, or people who have been tried to get help from someone who wasn't really able to deal with it and truly do have attachments. The reason I'm asking these things, I think, is to help people out there who might be listening. How do they know how to go get help? How do you recognize when there's someone who can help you?
Okay, Reese, can you speak?
Yeah. Clients come to me from the internet. You know, they do searches. They're looking things up on Google. I don't know what the searches are, but enough of them are my keywords on my website and on YouTube that they find me. You know, that's all we can do. If we're not sure what's going on, you know, isn't that what we all do? We search for help online. I don't know what else to say. You know, on my website, I offer my pre-book for people so that they can treat themselves rather than hire me. You know, it's options. You know, get the information and help yourself, or hire me. there's a gentleman that came to me this week, and this has happened before, where he's gone to a whole bunch of different mediums and spent an enormous amount of money, and all of them have failed. So by the time he's gotten to me, he was just, I don't believe in any of you guys. What makes me think you think that you're different? And he had a real attitude, you know. So I explained to him, this guy had a demon attachment, and not all mediums are equipped to deal with demons, because they can't even recognize a demon from another attachment. You know, darkness is darkness, and unless you've been exposed to this and have been trained on it, or you have guidance that assists you in this area, other mediums just aren't always effective with it. And so I explained all of this to him, and maybe he'll come back to me, and maybe he won't. I don't know. But we just have to actively search to help ourselves. I don't know. I don't have any other suggestions.
One of the, can you mute yourself? I think that it helps whenever you mute yourself. There. One of the things that I found very interesting was your comments about animals and animals having attachments.
Right. Animals have souls, just like we do. Am I muted? No. And so lost souls attached to animals, and I'm not sure why they do that. I had a gentleman here recently that attached to a dog, and the dog attacked me. And it was a vicious, vicious attack. He didn't bite me. I'm carrying a cane for balance, and I held it, you know, and I just out loud I said, God help me, please help me, God help me, God help me, God help me. And this dog is just, it's just manic on me. So anyway, I was saved by this guy with his car, and he corralled the dog, and I got away. But when I got home, I asked my guy, and said, what the hell is that? I do not have problems with dogs. I love dogs. I get along with all of nature, right? But this dog had an attachment, and the attachment was opposed to the light walking by. He was deathly afraid of being punished by angels and the spirit realms. And so I was able to work with him and cross him over, and I was able to walk by that street again, and there was no vicious dog coming at me. The dog had been returned to its normal self. But yeah, horses, pigs, chickens, anything with a soul can have a spirit attachment, and often they do.
Yeah, Tina, that may be the reason that you got thrown today. Our friend Tina has a horse that decided he was unhappy, and he threw her. So maybe she should be looking into attachments. So anyway, I've muted you again, and I want to ask you a question about if you believe that you have dark attachments or dark energy that is swirling around you, what should you do?
Whatever your belief system is, if it's angels, if it's archangel, I work with Archangel Michael because he's the top, and all of the protective angels are under him. So he likes to be called upon. Archangel Michael will help you. Surround yourself with brilliant white light. Ask for help. You know, if you're real adventurous, talk to the entity and find out what it wants. You know, I mean, it's just somebody like you. You could power through that. But if it's just, you know, the general public, protect yourself and you know, discern within yourself what is it that you are thinking or doing that may have attracted such a dark entity to you. Don't play with Ouija boards without asking for protection and without asking to speak to divine beings of light only. Same with using a pendulum. Don't pick up a pendulum and ask a question of spirit without stating that you want divine guidance only. You know, there's all kinds of things that we can do to protect ourselves from dealing with lower energies.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I'm going to mute you and unmute yourself in just a moment, all right?
Okay.
All right, I apologize, folks. We have had this problem a couple of times, but it hasn't ever been this severe. So I would really like to have Risa back on some other time, and whenever we're not having such a technical issue. We had big technical issues even getting on tonight. So the Googlezilla is eating our show. What can I say?
There's a lot of storms that are going around out there.
There's a lot of storms. There's a lot of energy out there. There's tornadoes and floods and who knows what all.
Lightning. There's a lot of energetic, atmospheric disruption going on.
Right.
Too bad, because Risa, I just want to say I have so appreciated hearing you just address this topic, which, in my humble opinion, it has been so well done and has left me not questioning you at all, and I'm very picky, and so I'm just very grateful to hear your story, and I'm hoping that people will have stayed with it so that they'll be able to connect with you and get the help they need. So we want to know about your website and all your books.
Okay, first book, Guidelights, Attune to Your Angels and Spirit Guides. Begin to heal your life and move towards your soul purpose. And it's on Amazon, Kindle, and paperback. And the second one is the procedural booklet, Lost Souls. The title is Soul Freedom, Healing from Earthbound Spirit Attachment, Haunting, and Possession, Causes, Symptoms, and Solution. And that is also on Amazon Kindle. It's not yet in paperback. That'll be released later this year, I hope. And my website is guidelights.org.
Great. Thank you, Risa. I really appreciate that. And we really appreciate the work you're doing out there in the world. You know, there's not many people who are willing to go up against demons and fight the battle. So the fact that you have allowed yourself to do this and to work with it so well, I applaud you and I thank you. And we have put up your website, and we'll put it on the YouTube link. And I really appreciate your being on the show. I want to let everybody know that the lady Adey, A-D-E-Y, who's the star of The Last Avatar, is going to be our guest next week. And she's gorgeous. What she is beyond that, I'm not sure, because I haven't got her bio yet. But I do know she's an actress and a performer, and she's really an interesting young woman who is one of the new generation of priestesses that are coming up. And I also want to mention that our own dear Raven has, let's see, what have you got? You've got 2 new classes that are available online. You've got a class coming up this weekend on Void of Course.
Well, it's a ceremony. It's not a class. It's a
course.
Yeah, I'm conducting a ceremony on When the Moon is Void, of course. And at the end of August, I will be working with Ann Key and Genevieve Mitchell. We will be presenting a weekend retreat here in Albuquerque for people who want to know how to create ritual. We're going to take them through a weekend so that when they're done, they will know how to present and create their own full moon ritual. So that's coming up, and then my classes are on Spiritual Directions, A Path of Initiation. Levels 1 and 2 are available at Mother House of the Goddess, and this is all on my website, which is KATHRYN, ravenwood.com. And I actually, for those of you who've been to my website before, I fixed a few broken things, so it's better than it used to be.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And the other thing I'd like to announce is happy birthday! It is Raven's birthday on Friday.
So,
happy birthday. She's going to be 39 years old again.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Rita. This is wonderful.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Gloria.
And we look forward to having you on our next another show sometime in the future. And we send you blessings across the border of the county down there.
Thank you.
All right.
Good night, guys.
So good evening, folks. Hang on, Reed.